Imagination runs wild, heart soars free. Eyes behold wonders, ears listen elegantly. Oh, the excitement this world brings, orgasmic redundancy. Listen elegantly.
What up, everybody? Tawsh Lav, everybody. Welcome back to Wefobz. This is season 3, and today's conversation is a special one. This episode is not just about art. This is about identity, culture, truth, and perspective. We're sitting down with Tawsh Lav, a Samoan afakasi artist from American Samoa, whose work blends traditional Pasefika designs with the contemporary expression in a way that feels both rooted and relevant. Bruh, fire. She also the creator of a language calendar that are helping preserve culture inside everyday homes, not just visually, but through language, learning, and connection. But beyond the art, Tawsh brings something deeper, a lived perspective shaped by culture, by experience across different parts of the U.S., and by a strong commitment to truth, research, and understanding beyond what we're usually fed. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're not just talking about what she creates, we're talking about how she thinks. Tawsh, welcome to Wefobz. We're honored to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lot. Thank you, Guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How you doing back there, Guy?
Oh man, I'm glad we brought Tawsh on for the second episode. I'm looking forward to this. Let me get the little house cleaning out of the way. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to hit that like, follow, subscribe wherever you are. We do this every week. We try to bring in a new special guest. Also, if you see there, we tag some merch there from the Wefobz store. If you're interested in what Wefobz does, look up that merch. We do get commission on it, so it helps us pay the bills if you do pick something up, if you're ever interested. But other than that, let's get back to the program.
Sweet. I want to start here because this stood out to me right away, Tawsh. You mentioned that at one point you didn't feel Samoan enough, artistic enough, or even business savvy enough. Can you take us into that, please?
Oh man. So I grew up in American Samoa. I am, as you said, afakasi. And I didn't grow up speaking Samoan. I watched movies and I thought I was white because that's how I was treated at school, right? I speak like this, I look like this. I'm not. I didn't really look Samoan. I didn't feel Samoan. I didn't talk Samoan, and other people saw that, and they didn't. I just didn't really blend into what you would think of as a Samoan, and so I spent all that time thinking, okay, I'm white. I must be white. I'm half white, half Samoan. If I'm not Samoan, I must be white. So I really dug into that side of me. And it wasn't until later that I realized a lot of people struggle with this. And I'll talk more about that later. But I took Samoan art class. Those were fun, but I always felt like, oh, I don't have any right to touch this. Like I was bullied a lot actually and I assumed it was because I wasn't Samoan enough. But when I look back at it now, when you have that kind of insecurity, people will latch onto that, whatever that insecurity is. I felt that way about myself. And so people treated me like that too. So it's just kind of like a reinforced thought, right? And it wasn't until I went to college, because all I wanted to do was get off that island and just find my white people because I'm white. Things are going to be so much different, right? I go to college in Washington State and I realized very quickly I'm not white. It was a total culture shock for me. And I was just like, well, where do I belong? It was a huge identity crisis. It's like, well, I didn't feel Samoan in Samoa and I don't feel white in America. Then like, who am I? And so that was when I really dug into like, who am I? What do I know? And for my first year in college, I was very isolated. I didn't know anybody where I followed my boyfriend to college. So he was the only one I knew. And I didn't know anyone else. And I didn't have any friends. Like the culture was so crazy different from someone who was used to American Samoa culture. I could not understand people in the States. I thought movies would prepare me. It did not. And it was so wild. It wasn't until my sophomore year that I stumbled upon the Pacific Islanders Club. And I felt so at home. It was the closest I ever felt to like feeling at home, away from home. And it was crazy because I didn't think I knew very much about Samoan culture, but they like would rely on me for choreography because in Samoa we dance, right? We dance for school programs. I was in a dance group in Samoa. I didn't think I knew very much, but up here in the States, where there are people who grew away from the culture, who grew up away from the culture, who some of them even grew up away from Samoans or from other islanders and only know American culture. I was helping them like learn their language. I was helping them like do artwork for the luau, the shows that we were doing. I was helping them with dances. And this was all stuff I didn't think I would ever like, I had any right to. But it's like, if I'm helping other people who, they look more Samoan than me too. These were like full-blooded Samoans in the States. And I had this stigma. I was like, oh, they're more Samoan. They know Samoan. They look Samoan, but they didn't know the language. They've never been there. They didn't have like, and they were hungry for it. They were hungry for a grasp of their culture. It's just, through no fault of their own, they've never had any taste of it. Like there was one guy, his dad was Samoan, his mom was white, and he never met his dad. He had no tie to the islands at all. And I was like, I was his mentor. So it's like crazy to see, man, I'm sorry, I'm like talking a lot, but it was a lot of experiences and just that whole like identity, that whole grasp for identity. I realized in college that I wasn't the only one who went through that. And if I was stuck in my insecurity to not notice other people, but I think a lot of us are like that. And so when I finally got a grasp of myself, that's when I started, well, I love Samoan art. I love helping people learn about their culture. And I do know more than I thought I did. And I can keep learning about it. And so that's kind of, I tried so hard not to touch it. I tried so hard not to do anything with art. I'm a nerd. So I thought I would do something academic. And I didn't feel Samoan enough. So I thought I would do something that had nothing to do with the culture. But life happens when you're trying to make plans. That just seemed to be the thing that was always drawn. I was always drawn to, or not really drawn to, but that I kept finding myself in roles where I would have to use this knowledge to help others.
That's a whole lot to unpack there. There's some relatable things. Oh, no, don't even worry, because it just leads up to the next point that we're trying to get. But I wanted to add on to that. That's crazy because from the outside looking in, not realizing the challenges a person goes through, like in afakasi, for example, I've never looked at them any different when I was growing up in Samoa. Samoan to me, afakasi, I didn't see that. I just believed that they were Samoan because I came from the States and made my way back home. So everyone just kind of looked Samoan. So there was no judgment on split, mixed, or anything like that in my mind. And I say that for example, like the Tongans, for example, back home. There's a very large or a nice Tongan community. I knew that they were Tongans, but I didn't acknowledge them as Tongans in that way because I always thought they were Samoans. So but this was my growing up, right?
Yeah.
and I didn't realize the struggle of the person that is either mixed or a different nationality, ethnic background, until I came to the States. Because before we went, it was so Americanized. I went back home. We were like third grade, I believe, and we were kind of I can see that we didn't stand out because we're brown and we're Samoans, and a lot of people didn't know what that was. And we had a large group of family members that we all kind of went together, 15 deep. When one person gets in trouble, they call all of us, and we all went to the same school, right? So I know how the separation feels. But when I got to Samoa, it was reversed. I felt like at home. I was just like, yo, like, wow, my people. And I didn't realize that, but it was the whole time there from elementary, middle school to high school. I've learned, and I was like, man, I'm actually proud that I am someone. It gave me the identity that I understood at that time too, that made it much more clear for me. But I totally get it. I totally get it. And then when I come back, and then I can see the division, not even division, it's just the mindset that you knowing who you are matters.
Yes.
Right. And knowing who you are matters because in the American system, you have to sign whether you are a specific race, right? Black, white, colored, or whatever the case. Hawaiian, Pacific Island, that's our category, right? Oh, that's me right there. Boom. Yeah. And don't even realize that. And then I have a lot of mixed friends growing up and today too as well. And also like further down, nieces and nephews that are also mixed and the struggle that they go through. Mm-hmm. And it's important to me because I get it, right? And typical Samoan will like feel some type of way and be super judgmental about certain things. Of course, that's the old ways, but you kind of adapt to it. So I totally get it, and it's crazy hearing it. I mean, we're on the podcast, so I have this conversation, but having you say that, my heart goes to you for toughing it through. Like that's an amazing. I think that's powerful because a lot of people are gifted. But the real battle is believing that you belong in the space you are stepping into. Now, what's interesting is you didn't just come from anywhere. You actually grew up in a family that was already building media, business, storytelling, right?
Oh man.
What was the environment like for you growing up?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I am super proud of my family, like because all of this. Man, our stories are so crazy. So my parents met in the States, and my mom says he tricked her. He was like, "Oh yeah, we can go to the tropical paradise. You can fish for lobster." He told her all this stuff about American Samoa, and they saved up. I mean, I was born in LA. I was born in I lived in Compton, in Carson. We had helicopters.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and my parents talked about that. My mom was the only white woman for the whole block. She tells me these stories, and I'm like, wow.
Culture shock. Oh my gosh, I'm already knowing.
For her, right? And so she goes to Samoa, and she's like, "You lied to me. What is it?" And she was pregnant with my brother, so she's over there. Like, we didn't have running water. She had to go and get water from her in-laws' house, buckets of water. And she tells me the struggle. My dad built our house like really from the ground up. They did everything together. And man, I want to talk about this stuff, but I know that I'm going to have to be really real about some of this stuff. And I know some people aren't going to like it, but like when we first went down there, and I know some people will relate to this. My dad grew up in the States. So we had family who felt like he did not have a stake in the land. Because it's like, where were you? You weren't working this land. But it was because my grandfather and grandmother needed him to come back and help him with some stuff. So he came back. He was like trying to help them with the land. And we had family who didn't like that. There were issues. And then there's my mom, who's just like, what is happening? And so they went through a lot of turmoil, right? Like even my dad, who is Samoan, he was born in Polu. His dad is American Samoa. And even going to the States, and he went there when he was 9, and having that American culture, like, influence and coming back.
Yeah.
Even he was seen as not really Samoan by certain people. And so they had to fight through that. And they created a business. The very first, it was called Pacific Hotline. So it was like a penny saver. Penny saver. They would reach out to businesses and they would advertise in the Pacific Hotline. And it was like, they'd have recipes and different things in there. And me as a little kid, I think I was like 7 or something. They would print it in our house, like this giant printer, and just print it all throughout the day, all throughout the night. And then I would be the one trying to put them together. And then
wow,
we would deliver them to all these different shops, and they were free. They were free for people. I'm not sure how they got paid doing that, but I think the businesses through the advertisements. And then this other, I can't remember who it was, but someone bought that company from them and the printers, and they're like, okay, they had to sign a deal saying that they're never going to they're not going to compete against them. So my parents were, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, we're not going to do that. And so instead of doing that, they moved on to video programming. They were the very first ones to they bought a channel, and then they showed old movies, like really old movies. The Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers, and Wonderful Life, like all the old movies. And then they would make commercials with the businesses that were down there. And then we were in those commercials. Some of them were really crazy. It's so funny. And in between like the previews, like the commercial breaks, were you'd see like a commercial for Teddy Samoa or for what were the ones?
Wait, were these when we were watching back home? Did it go live? Oh, that's the ones that was going back home?
All in American Samoa. Yeah, there was one for Quencher. We did one for Quencher. We did one for, it was all the, I wish I had the footage to show you. Yeah, they were
so your family was literally funneling all the stuff that was happening in America, and we was watching American Samoa like
I mean, it was just that one channel. It was just that one channel, but they were the first ones to make commercials of Samoan businesses before Blue Sky, before any of that.
Yeah, I remember back then, before Teddy Samoa and Talo for videos and all that stuff, the theater and Tafuna.
Yeah. Wow. I know. I'm so proud of them, because like to come from the States and just come here or into American Samoa and just like, okay, this has never been done, or the new Pacific Hotline. And it's like, okay, well, they bought that. Okay, no problem. We're gonna do video.
Wow.
And I swear, this is where I get some of my my business savvy from. Something I also didn't think I had enough of, because I didn't think of my parents as business people, even though they were clearly. But I would look at people on movies. It's on movies, man. When you grow up in American Samoa, I think everything I thought I knew had to do with movies. They didn't wear suits, so how could they be business people?
Right. Setting the standards of American craziness.
Yeah, right.
Wow. And I got a lot going on my head with all that. That is very interesting to know that.
There was a, what do you call? Oh man, the Samoan brothers. Were they brothers? The Anua'is. When they came down to Samoa and they did a wrestling match, my parents were the ones that that recorded them live. their wrestling match. Yeah.
Was you the one in the back carrying the bags or something like that, or where were you at?
I was the freaking videographer.
Oh, you were filming?
Yeah, dude. You know how real business is. When you broke. Your kids are your employees.
Your kids.
I remember being in a bar. It was what was it? Malia's?
Sadie? Or where? You feel?
I think it was Malia. It was somewhere where my dad was like singing, because my dad's a singer too. And I'm in a bar. I'm 13, and I'm on the camera. I knew how to operate the camera at the time, and I'm on the camera, and I have this guy like come up behind me and hit on me. I turn and he sees the kids like, what are you doing here?
Right. Wow.
Yeah. Good time.
Guy, you remember anything back then? Oh, wow.
Bruh, don't even get me started. When her family started putting that stuff out, that was all we could watch. Come on. I come from the Unga Bunga side of the freaking island. We were out.
Do you remember any of that?
Yeah.
Did you see that? You did? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
A lot of my family members remember it. It's all we could watch, like, other than, because Channel 2 and channel
Yeah.
4, right?
Yep. Channel 2, channel 4, and then that channel. That was all. And
Man.
so I
Oh my
remember there was,
gosh.
no, but it was embarrassing because there was one commercial we did where it was 2 front teeth, and it was me and my little brother, and we had to write a letter to Santa. And then when I went to school, everyone would be singing "All I Want for Christmas" by 2 front teeth.
Oh.
Stop, please. I don't want to hear it.
Wow. Wow.
It just like added to the bullying, you know? No.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I see now. I see.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
This generation
Yeah.
doesn't understand. We only had access to one channel.
Yeah.
They
That's
added
right.
another channel after, and now we got cable and stuff. But we only had access to one channel and one type of programming.
Right.
And it only happened from like what, 6 in the morning till about I
Mhm.
think it was 6 p.m. 6 to 6. Oh my gosh, why are we going with it's showing
And
our
most
age?
of it was slideshows. It was
Yeah.
slideshows of the island with music. It was like an elevator. You just put it on as background.
But it was entertaining. It was entertaining.
Man, our age is going.
Yeah. You bringing back memories.
We're old enough to
Yeah.
talk about this generation now.
Yeah. Wow. Are we that old? Golly. No wonder why my kids look at me like that.
We're still alive.
True.
Tosh, when I look at your work, one thing that stands out is that it feels intentional. It doesn't feel like you're just creating designs. It feels like you're carrying something through your work. What does it mean to you to take traditional designs and present them in a contemporary way? And do you ever feel a responsibility when you're creating, knowing that you're representing culture at the same time?
Oh, all I feel, and I can't forget it because of what I told you, you know, like growing up the way I did, and like my very first art show. I did an art show in American Samoa, and I had a guy come in, and he was a chief, and he asked me, like, you know, he's looking at my art, but he sees me, and he goes, "Do you know what these symbols mean?" And you know, of course, I was like, "Yeah, you know, this." I'm explaining it to him, and he's like, "Oh, okay," you know. And I get that a lot. I get questions like that, especially from people who feel a strong obligation to uphold the culture. And I appreciate it. I do. And I think it's very important. But it also always keeps me aware of the responsibility I hold. And as for using traditional designs with contemporary concepts, I think that's the only way I can present it. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not traditional Samoan. You know, I'm multicultural, you know,
Yeah.
like and people misunderstand just being multicultural. That doesn't just mean like being afakasi. That's multiracial. Multicultural, like you're multicultural. Guy is
Yep.
multicultural, right? Like
Yep.
we have a grasp of the American culture and the Samoan culture. And that's how it is for a lot of us, even in American Samoa. You can tell the difference between, like, even between the Samoan Islands, between Polu, Savaii, and American Samoa. The culture is different. Manua, right? So,
Whoop whoop, Manukas.
yeah, for me, where I could never do something that was like something that that Reggie does, you know, or Wilson, you know, the real traditional guys, because that's what they see, that's what they grew up with, that's their perspective. For me, I could only do art the way that I do, which is multicultural, and it is modern, but I want to keep the traditional designs because that is our history. Like, I also came from there. Half my ancestors, you know, are from the
Yep.
Samoan
Yep.
Islands. So, and I feel like a lot of people relate to that too. You know, like I see Samoan artists now who draw like the pe on anime characters.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I seen that too.
Yeah, it's like we have Lilo and Stitch. You know, we have like there's a lot of. I think for some people they like to do that to make it more digestible.
Mhm.
But for me, I don't really think about it that way. I just think about like this is the only way I could ever approach this.
Yeah.
I'm not a traditional Samoan, and I'm not so removed from the culture that I don't know it and respect it and grew up there. So yeah, it's the only thing that I know how to present it.
I have a sense of pride when I see it out here in the United States. Samoans from the islands representing through their crafts, their art, and I can't help but feel the belonging, and it resonates very hard with me. It reminds me of my humble beginnings growing up and learning the Samoa and coming to the States. So when I see things like that, and your stuff just kind of blew me away. I was like,
Oh, thank you.
wow. And yeah, because moving on to the next one, I'll tell you right now. Now I know you're shifted. Now I know you've shifted your focus over time, and you are now centered on your language calendars. And this is where it gets powerful, because this is more than something people look at. It's something they live with. What led you to move away from custom work and really focus on this direction? And what does it feel like knowing your work is sitting inside people's homes, helping preserve language and identity on a daily basis? Like I said, girl, my wife was like buying your stuff, and I'm like, that is pretty cool. And then I seen you, I was like, whoa, that girl's from Samoa, and just felt it resonated so much. What are your thoughts? Can you speak on that for us, please?
I want to speak to a lot of the artists right now who are thinking like, I could never do something like that. Because that's exactly how I felt when I came up with that calendar. That calendar has been an idea of mine for a while, for years. And it was just one of those, pipe dreams, like, it would never work, and I always tried to do the academic thing, but we were like in desperate times. A hurricane had flooded our house, and I needed something more than just a customer, because my husband, his hours got cut a lot, and we were sitting down brainstorming, like, how are we gonna make money? How are we gonna survive? And I told him about that idea, the calendars, and he was just like, you gotta do that. Why have you never done this? I was like, well, it's not, this is not something that I do. This is something other people do. This is something like who am I to do this? I wouldn't know the first thing. He's like, just do it first and then we'll figure that out. So he quit his job completely and watched our daughter at the time. And so for 3 solid weeks, all I did was just lock myself in the room and put that together.
Wow.
And the reason why it was an idea I had for so long that I thought would be helpful was because, like, we love to look at art, but like the other side of the culture, like for me, I've always appreciated Samoan art, but when I used to think about, like, man, what could have made me feel more like belonging in the culture? And it comes down, for me, I think it comes down to language. Because I can look this way. I've seen afakasi. I've seen white people, red-headed freckles, who speak fluent Samoan, and they are Samoan. Like, so
right.
I would see that and be like, man, are you telling me all I had to do was speak Samoan? Like, that would have helped me out so much. And also, when you speak the language, it gives you like insight. Like, I don't think people really understand that. When you speak the language, there's a certain part of your brain that just shifts to that culture. And I think that's what I was missing growing up. So at the time when I came up with that, I was really deeply studying the language. I was practicing. My husband helped a lot with that. His family helped a lot with that. He had a 6-year-old nephew, and I would only speak Samoan to him because he doesn't care. And he talked a lot. So I'm like, oh, perfect. This is great. And I just thought, man, how, like, my study materials are there. And I'm just thinking, like, man, if I can make a calendar where I could just have one every day, and then like artwork, I don't know. And then, a hurricane happened. My husband was, a lot of the things that a lot of artists, all you artists out there, I know that you guys are just like me, where we're very, like, I may be talking right now and it may seem like I'm very comfortable, but I'm still deep down very introvert. There's a lot of artists, they don't like being on camera. They don't
Yeah,
even like
like,
people. They don't like people seeing them. They don't like people hearing them. They're just let me blend into the shadows and just look at my work. In fact, don't even look at my work. Like I'm just gonna do this personally, and then if you stumble upon it, then that's awesome. But guys,
that's a good point. Most
yeah,
creative artists, I do see them as introverts. They like to be on the
yeah,
behind.
yep.
Um,
What
and
was that? Laufefe, that plant. You're just like,
uh,
yeah, that's artists, especially Samoan artists. Every Samoan artist I know is very shy, very introvert. Even the big guys,
oh yeah,
they're so talented, but man, they're so shy and so very humble, which is good. But it's
that's
like,
funny because I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, go
Uh,
ahead.
it just a thought came in my head is back when I was in Samoa, they would refer to me as Palangitoi. And I
Oh,
didn't speak very much Samoan, so you know what I mean. So, but coming to the States, and then I felt the need of wanting to. I don't know what it was, but something clicked, and I started speaking more Samoan than I've ever in Samoa put together. And I've been in Samoa probably almost 20 years. So yeah, it's
funny how
crazy,
that
right?
works, right?
Uh,
Same here. I speak more Samoan outside of Samoa than in Samoa, and it's
and
just
it's
because
funny.
I'm so ma in Samoa.
Maybe I think that's what it is, right? Maybe it was just my. I didn't want to get called, Palangitoy, this and that. It's like, yeah, whatever. And I don't know what it was, but it just clicked and come out of here. And now you're just speaking Samoan. And then I realized the Samoans from out here, you speak Samoan to them and they only speak English. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Something is missing.
Hmm. Yeah,
And I, I,
yeah.
I can't I can't deny that I do see some type of disconnect for the Samoans in the States and the ones from Samoa. At some point, we got to merge that effort, but I
The
totally
culture
get it.
is just different. The culture is different. Like they're both Samoan, but it's a different culture, different
Mhm.
Samoan culture.
Yeah, and I mean, even to bring you on this podcast today to interview you, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I'm glad it wasn't so much of an effort. You pretty much, because we have a little bit of history from the past. You were able to come on and share all this with us. So, to all those creative artists out there, man, this is what it's all about, man. Trying to give everybody their flowers. I was very interested in Tasha's stories and wanted to bring it to the forefront so everyone can hear it straight from her. I very much appreciate that. Guy, what do you think about this calendar, man, and the art stuff that we're talking about?
I'm trying to figure out why not more people are buying it. What's wrong with you all? If you want to pick it up, look in the description for our YouTube video links right there. You can check out all her merch. It's right there, guys. Pick it up, click on it, help
Hi.
support. But bro, we as creatives has this one thing where we gotta create something, we gotta put it out there. In Tasha's case, like she said, when she was put into survival mode, a lot of people don't understand when artists feel the pressure. We make masterpieces out of nothing. So
Not that we like pressure though. We don't
yeah,
like
we
pressure.
don't like pressure, but it always keeps what did they call us? Starving artists? How was that?
Starving art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, every artist understands that notion. Every artist knows about the block, the artist
Mhm.
block. Every artist knows about the
Mhm.
struggle. Even you
Mhm.
watching this thing may know about the struggles that we talk about. Whether you're a writer, a musician, a
Yeah,
painter,
facts.
a illustrator, a tech artist, you all know about this. Tosh
Yeah.
speaks the truth on this. I mean, going back to her
You,
calendar, that
yeah,
calendar is the gift that she got from going through that struggle. And I respect it, bro. I mean, what else can I
yeah,
Mhm.
say?
I do too.
What else can I Thank you, Tosh. Thank you.
Yeah. There's always gonna be risk. Always. I mean,
Yeah.
how I know Guy. I gotta talk about you, Guy.
No,
How
no,
I know
what? No, go ahead, go
I
ahead,
got
go
to.
ahead, go ahead.
I got
Yeah,
to.
tell me. I would like
So
to know.
everyone, Sekia Oi, very first
Oh,
full
yes.
length feature comedy out of American Samoa was directed by Guy. And
Yeah.
my husband, who was then my boyfriend, was in that movie.
Yeah.
He Yeah, he was in that movie. His brother was in that movie, and I interned on that movie. And I just remember being so proud of you. I was like, man, and at the time, because I just met you, I was like, man, this guy's got it all figured out. Look at him, he's like, he's on it. This guy's so professional. Like, Because that's what you think. If someone's doing something that, like, if someone's going to be a pioneer, they must know everything. They must be so prepared. I remember one time you asked me to do a voiceover at your house, and you're drinking kava with Alfred, and you asked me to do the voiceover, and I was just like, wait, this is how we're doing this? And that's when I realized, I was like, dude, this dude is just like me. Like, but it makes it more inspiring, because you had like all your friends in the movie, and then you had like I remember the kava scene, just like, okay, well, where are we gonna go for the next? Oh yeah, let's go here. And it was very much the same as how I did the calendars, right? People look at it now and they're like, they just see the finished product. It's like, wow, that's awesome. They did that. And like they have their preconceived notions, but it's like, all you gotta do is start. You just gotta start. That's the only difference between people that are sitting at home drawing really awesome art and making really cool videos, like awesome videos that no one is ever gonna see, versus people who are in Hollywood making semi-okay movies. What is it they say? There are people who are way or far less talented, far less knowledgeable than you, that are going out there and doing it solely because they're doing it. That's the only difference. Literally the only difference. You will figure it out as you go. Like, that's what I saw a guy, and I love that movie, by the way.
Disclaimer, Tasha, I gotta throw it. We, the film crew, and I did not know what we were doing.
No, I know. I realized that halfway in the movie, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
And it still came out great.
Thank you, Tasha. It was
like,
awesome.
I dropped a poking it on Alfred's head. It's a good thing he had the helmet. But I was like, man.
Beautiful. Shout out to everyone who helped out with that movie and the other movies. Sekiawe was definitely something different. It's how I linked up with Locke here. Like, he was following the progress of what I was doing from film school. And then that's how I linked up with you guys. Big shout out to Alfred and Rocco and the family.
Yeah.
And, Mr.
Oh man.
Cool. I like to
because of you, I'm on IMDb or IMBD, whichever one. Because of you, I'm on there. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Put all you guys on. I literally did that from home.
That is crazy.
But yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, it's funny because oh my gosh, now we're going down history.
Yeah.
Because Sekiawe, I had just finished. I had did my project from the States, finishing graduating from LA Film School, and I was doing the audio, and I started recruiting for Samoan people. I was trying to get into the Samoan market, which it didn't exist. So we started the Roadblock Project, where I was just kind of looking at all the creative artists across the United States, and kind of picked everybody up at the infant stage of them trying to make a move. The idea was trying to give more flowers or a platform for new creative artists to have something so they can sustain for the future. And that's where Zaina comes, Guy So Smooth, comes in. AKA Zaina. Now we know. I know. After I said it, y'all getting real deep in this, man. I was not expecting this.
Let's go.
And, right. Golly, you guys. So following him that whole time, I was in the back end watching all this. And I'm like, bro, whatever you need. And just the whole production on the back end, I was kind of helping the best I can for the States and cheering on the crew, the film crew. But hey, check this out, though. Funny thing, right? Every character or cast member that was on that film, if you fast forward today, they've come to become influencers in social media. Is it just me, or
really?
They're all over the place.
They're world famous now.
They're world famous now.
Even your husband and his brother and you, and then the rest of the crew, world famous.
Yeah. So,
so cool.
If this is news to anybody listening, you can go watch Sekiawe on our YouTube, and you can check it out, and go down memory lane, and then fast forward today, and you tell me, comment like, hey, they started back then when this whole by design, beautiful story on the foundational infant stage that started. And we were coconuts from then, and we still being coconuts today.
So,
It's
not
So
to lose the
pretty amazing.
storyline, it comes back to you again, Tosh. I mean, we were all struggling. That time you were building the calendars was the same time we were putting in that movie. It was like the struggle was real back then.
yeah.
Wait, you were building at that time? That was
Like
around the
she
same
had
time
her
frame?
calendar beforehand, but she had other things going on as well during
You're
like
talking about during your podcast when you guys started Wefobz, right?
that kid. Well, we
No.
Because
all
I didn't
came.
have it. I didn't have it at Sekiawe.
No,
He's talking
like
about
yeah.
when you
Oh,
guys
you
started
did?
your business.
Remember that
Oh,
was
when we started
Yeah.
Wefobz.
So my first calendar was 2019.
yeah.
Oh,
Tell us the
okay.
story because that's what we were talking.
Yes,
Like
please.
because that's the
Yeah.
struggle we're talking. When we started with Sekiawe, that was a different struggle. That was like Hunger Games struggle.
Yeah.
The one you're talking about is right after, like leading up to the pandemic. Remember, we got on
Yeah.
lockdown in Samoa
Yeah, that
before
was
everybody
pre-pandemic.
else. You guys remember
Yeah.
that? We were locked down in 2018. Everybody else got locked down in
Yeah.
2019, 2020 because of
Yeah.
measles, right? So go ahead and
The
that's
measles,
how
I
your
remember that.
calendar came about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was actually for the calendar. I was in the States at the time, and it was right before the pandemic hit. It was right before then. So it was just because we had that huge hurricane hit South Carolina, and yeah, the flood and everything, and then it was so crazy how things lined up because I had this friend Autrey, who I knew from, you might know her from American Samoa.
Hansel?
I think she might be yeah, her.
Yeah, she's my classmate.
She's one of my really good friends, and she was doing something similar to the like podcasting where she would just go and interview people and creatives. And she asked me one year if she could interview me, and I was like, I haven't done anything of worthy of note to be on this. And my self-esteem was so low. I was like, can we like maybe another time? I kept putting it off. And then she stopped doing it for a while. And then when I got my calendar, I was like, business 101, right? You have a product, you have to market it. So
Yeah.
how am I gonna market this? And then I thought about her. I was like, hey, are you still interested in doing an interview? And she's like, yeah, I haven't done one in a while. You'll be my first one in a while. So we did that, and that's when she put me on the map. I started with that. I started reaching out to influencers.
Nice.
What do you call? Gosh, I feel so bad because I'm so bad at names. Like, it's like you mentioned earlier a lot, like, oh, how does it feel having these calendars in the homes of these people around the world? And it's like I have a guy who he's won a Super Bowl, and he's had my account. He was an influencer for me. I
Oh,
can't remember
snap.
his name. My husband knows all these
What?
people. For me,
Wow.
I focus on the art, and my husband is just like, oh yeah, I got this guy. Yeah, he won a Super Bowl. I'm like, cool. Danny something, but he's Samoan. I can't remember what team he plays for. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. The life of an artist who's not like doesn't pay attention to really much of anything else like that. But yeah, even Samoan Stuntman on Instagram. So Tanua'i Reed, he really helped promote the calendar.
Oh, really?
He is so awesome. He's
That's
actually
the Rock Stunt, right?
yeah, his cousin and Stuntman. So that guy, he's actually really big on helping other Samoans rise up and businesses and artists. He actually had to do his stunt logo. Yeah, he's really cool. When I posted about people stealing my art, like this, I had this business steal my art, posted about it. He personally messaged them and told them off for me. I was like, oh, I love you. Yeah, that guy he's a real one. He's a real one. He's so cool. Yeah.
Wait, what? The stealing the art part? What? Did you get that handled?
It happens all the time. And sorry, artists, if they're from China, which a lot of them are, there's really not much you can do about it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it sucks. One time actually, there have been so many instances where my art was stolen. My mom bought me a phone case for Christmas one time, and she thought it'd be cool because she got it from Amazon. It was my design. From China. I was like, dude, mom, you can even see the watermark like a little bit faded.
Wow.
Like, that's not the first time that's happened. I've had I choreographed for my husband's performing show, like luau show. And this girl comes into it. She said, "Oh yeah, I did some dance in Mexico, a Tahiti group." She walks in, I see her shirt. I was like, "I did that logo." Like, but someone took it and, changed it. Probably like used AI or something. But I was like, man, it's crazy. I see my designs everywhere. Everywhere.
Wow. Golly. We're at a time right now where creativity is changing fast, especially with AI entering the space.
Oh yeah.
As an artist, how are you navigating that? Do you see it as something to adapt to, something to be cautious of, or something else entirely?
How am I adapting? Poorly. If I'm being honest with you. No, actually, so I started out thinking, okay, I think the best way we can incorporate this is to use it as a tool. So what I did was I would try to generate references. I don't have to go on Pinterest. I don't have to like take photos. I'll just generate references and then I can use that to practice. But I have this whole other side of me. I know you guys have
The
seen
purist.
my yes, there's the purist in me, but there's also the ethical um the ethical part, issues that I have with AI and data centers and their
Yeah.
environmental impact. So when I realized how heavy those were, I was like, okay, I can't in good faith like use this. I can't, rely on this. And also I found myself relying on it too much. And I read studies where they say that it actually is making us dumber, right? And that's kind of how it is with a lot of technology. Like I took classes in college where we would talk about how, the Iliad or the Odyssey, these books, they were passed down because people would memorize them, right? Word for word, they would memorize them. Those are thick books. You can't even imagine someone doing that now. That was like normal back in the day. Now it's like, what? Like I need a calculator. I can't do math right now. And AI is just a next step to that. So I kind of like staying sharp, but also I have my own ethical boundaries when it comes to that. So I try really, really hard not to use it. Like when I did start using it as a reference, I thought it was really great. It was so helpful. And if those environmental issues and psychological issues were somehow fixed, then I think it'd be great for using as a reference or for practice. Like when you want to upload your art, like in a perfect world, you could upload your art and ask AI, how do I fix this? What needs to be done? Like, you could do something like that. How can I work on lighting and if people used it that way, that's something that I would be on board with. But now there's a lot of like I told you about my art getting stolen, right? That kind of stuff is happening way more rampantly with AI. In fact, everything generated by AI was taken by an artist. So
Correct.
without their permission. And also something I do like that they did with legislation that way is if you use AI in your products, and just for those of you guys who are using it, just so you know, you can't copyright it. Like anyone can take
That's true.
like if you wrote a book and you used AI to write it, anybody can take that book and publish it as their own. Like you don't own it because it's not copyrightable. So that's another thing to think about. Yeah, like
There's definitely lawsuits going on about that right now.
yeah, I can't. It's hard for me because I can't fault people too much for wanting to use it. Like my mom loves it. My mom loves AI. She's a poet. She's a songwriter. She loves to like write lyrics and then she'll show me her music with an AI singer. And like, oh look, does this sound like Taylor Swift? I'm like, and then I would explain like, Mom, I cannot. Like, please don't. Like, there are really great things about it. There's so many helpful things. Like I know they're making AI contacts to make people be able to see better. But then you have to think about like, are those being recorded, like the meta classes and I don't know. With every technology, there's always, this is the whole issue. Like, honestly, the thing with AI is like basically its own episode in itself. But
It is.
I'd say I'm very I'm very wary of it. I know that there's a lot of environmental impacts, our energy bills, the heat, it's making everything hotter, the data centers, and it just in a perfect world, none of that stuff would be happening. Like that
Yeah.
that would lead to that kind of stuff. I can see where it'd be helpful. I can see why people would like it, because there are, like, on the great side, there are people, like I have a friend who writes books, and everything is hers. She just uses AI to generate, what she can't, what she's not able to, and especially for people who, what do you call it? We're in a competitive market, and other people are going to be using AI. And so there's that FOMO too. There's that need to compete with them too. It's like, how am I gonna? I think AI is kind of like cosmetic surgery at this point, right? Like, you can be beautiful, but there's someone out there with like cosmetic surgery, and it's like you feel like you got to compete. But think about it when it comes to your business and you got to make money. You're competing with someone else who's going to be using it. So I can understand why. I wish we didn't have to deal with this. I never thought we would have to deal with this in my lifetime.
Right.
But this is where we are, and it's just the reality of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You said, I agree with you mentioning that AI is like a tool, because that's kind of how I see it. And the tool is utilized for creators. Like when I make music, there's specific tools and resources that are available to create stuff. And I look at it like a brain, like an extra, because you can register so much, but it's like an additional capacity where you can store these memories and then communicate with it. Because I use it as a tool for me for research, for
Yeah.
everything. Basically, at this point, I mean, I'm currently going back to school, pursuing my master's in business entertainment, and when it came to AI, we're actually allowed to use it, but then not allowed to use it, if that makes sense. Simply, the idea is utilizing it for a positive purpose, like researching and idea brainstormings and all that kind of cool things. That's using it as a tool effective to help research and find, like, for example, cures to anything. It could really do all that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it just kind of blew me away to see that we're still, I think, beta stages of acceptance in the public to adapt to it, because it's so wide open that you can pretty much do all kinds of crazy stuff with it, and it becomes very scary. And I totally get it. I initially was pretty scared about it, but understanding utilizing it as a tool has its very big benefits.
Oh, yeah.
Has its
This
perks, I
this
guess.
is what I mean by it being like cosmetic surgery. Like, if you have a cleft lip or you have a burnt face, right? Like, to me, like, AI is like cosmetic surgery. Cosmetic surgery used for that is very beneficial. It'll change your life in a very positive way, And then there's the cosmetic surgery that is not beneficial, I'll just say. Like, yeah, I don't want to go too far into that, but there are
Yeah.
different ways to use a tool, and
Mhm.
AI is like, this is the craziest invention, in my opinion, that we've ever had. Like, the
Yeah.
possibilities are endless, both positive
Mhm.
and very negative, right? And it's just, how do you get it to be only positive, right?
Yeah. Regulations? Isn't that
I
what they're
hope
trying to
so.
do?
I hope so.
And then for the art and stuff, I do know there's like active lawsuits going against the copywriting of it. When you're utilizing AI and you upload an actual image of someone's art, the AI actually, when it produces new creative ideas or thoughts for whatever purposes, the idea, where do you think the idea comes from? It comes from the original art that you actually feed it, and that's where it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And I do know there's lawsuits going on right now through the music side, the art side of things, pretty much everything in entertainment when
Oh,
it
yeah.
comes to this, because it's not fair to the creators, the creative artists behind the craft or the product that has been produced, like arts or music, film or whatnot.
Mhm.
It's crazy. We definitely can go on with this topic.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole episode in itself.
Right.
Several
Tasha,
episodes.
Tosh, you lived in a lot of different environments, from American Samoa to Washington to Missouri to South Carolina. It's a wide range of perspectives. How has that shaped the way you see people, culture, and even how benefits are formed? You mentioned something important about culture influencing political views. For people listening, how would you break that down in a way that helps them understand both sides better?
Man, that's a lot. um, I guess I'll just share my personal perspective on that. When I growing up in American Samoa, I think the culture, both the Samoan culture and the Christian culture, because those are separate. Though Samoan culture is also its own culture. I
Mhm.
think that leans you conservative because my family was conservative. I grew up conservative, and a lot of people I knew were conservative. And it when you think conservative, you equate it to traditional, right? And in Samoa, we learn that traditional is important. It is important because
Yep.
we have to hold on to our culture. Like we're taught that hold on to your culture. That's your identity. Um, and then I went to Washington State, a very liberal state. I was still conservative, but that was when I think Bush was president when I was in high school and when I was in college. And my very first like thoughts on politics happened when the Twin Towers were hit. And I remember just feeling the way everyone else felt, like, oh my gosh, how could this happen? Like, this is crazy. And then I think it was 2 years later, like because we heard, oh, it's Osama bin Laden, Afghanistan. Afghanistan like hit us, and we went in there. We had a whole bunch of people invade Iraq and all. Well, 2 years later, I think it was like, oh, we're invading Iraq, and I was like, why? Like, oh, Saddam Hussein. I was like, wait, what? I thought it was bin Laden. I thought it was Afghanistan. Why are we? What's Iraq have to do with this? But like, I'm asking these questions because I'm like, okay, I know they're different. Like, but the people that I would listen to, the adults in my life, there was no difference. The Middle East was the Middle East. They're all evil. Like they're all in it together. They all hate America. Death to America. And I was like, wait, but like I know that American Samoa and like what do you call Hawaii are different, you know? Like
No.
I know that even in the States, like California, you go in California, you go in Alabama, very different, right? So people don't really, man, this is where I have to be in careful territory. When you don't know much about the Middle East, when you don't know much about certain places, you believe what you are told. And
Mhm.
as a kid, I remember hearing about Iraq, Afghanistan. And I was like, they're not the same though. Like they're both Middle East, and the adults would be like, oh, they're the same. And I did not get that, but also I was too young to really question them. I was like, I don't know, but okay, whatever. And then I went to Washington State, and people hated Bush over there. And I was still I was not very conservative, but I was still fairly conservative. So I would just listen to these people, and I understand. I'm sorry, guys, but I understand living in Washington State why people are irritated at liberals. Liberals are very, very passionate people, and growing up in American Samoa, where you're taught not to make such a big deal about things, when you're around very passionate people who are who come across as very flamboyant to you, it's like, dude, what is your problem? Chill out, you know? And so so that's kind of what I that was a culture shock for me too. like, man, these people are very loud. They are very passionate about their stuff. Like, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to people like coming into my face and talking.
Yeah.
And they're not even being mean. They're like, have you heard about blah, 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 blah? I'm like, whoa, calm down. And it's like, that was the culture shock. And then I went to Missouri, and Missouri is very, very conservative, very red. And Obama had just been elected president. And for me, I was excited. So like, oh, he's afakasi like me. And I have this bias, and I will admit it's a bias, that when you are multicultural, even if it's not afakasi, even if it's something like with you guys being multicultural, or someone who was hearing and is now deaf, anyone who has two different experiences, two different perspectives, I automatically think that they're going to be better for leadership, or for a leadership role, because they understand different perspectives. And with Obama, I was like, okay, this guy is afakasi. Like, he's black and white too, which is even more afakasi than I am. He's real afakasi. And I thought, okay, he could be a good president, and it was just because of that. I didn't have very strong opinions on politics. That was really why I was like, okay, cool. He could be a good leader. But man, the way people around me reacted to it was like, oh, he's gonna implement the martial law. I kept hearing about martial law. I didn't know what martial law was. When they told me, I was like, that sounds extreme. And I had people talking about moving out of the US because of it. Because, oh yeah, and then I heard the really racist people. And these were good friends of mine that I made friends over there. And they're very lovely people. Really, really nice, very hospitable people. And I remember him like they liked me. Like, I'm brown, right? I'm their only, where I was living in Missouri, there was no brown people, no black people, no Asian people. It was all white people. So it was very, the only foreigners there were Russians, who were also white. So they didn't have any experience with minorities. But they liked us, like my brothers and I. We were performers over there for a Polynesian show. And I remember this one friend I had. He did photography for a show. He was such a good friend. And he asked me, oh yeah, you gonna vote? And I was like, oh, I'm not sure. And then he talked about, he called Michelle Obama a monkey. And he started saying really racist stuff about her. And I was like, whoa, like, how is that okay to say stuff like that? And I just remember, even a family member of mine who, from my Palangi side, she talked about how she didn't like, oh, I don't like when black and white mix. I'm like, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance there. But yeah, anyway, there were people who didn't like him because, martial law, and then there were people who didn't like him because he was black. And then I came to South Carolina. It's like the more I went to the South, like the deeper, the more liberal I became. But I don't think it's because I went to southern places. I think it's just because being in so many places and seeing so many different perspectives, I just slowly started piecing my own identity together. And I realized that I lean this way, right? Like, this is my perspective. These are my beliefs. And it is really hard having them in a place where everyone is ideologically against you. And that's kind of like just being an afakasi. I mean, I have to clarify too. Just being afakasi doesn't mean that I am automatically a victim. That's not what I'm trying to say. For me, I was a victim because of my own mindset. I felt that way for myself, and it was reinforced by other people. There are plenty of afakasi that I know who do just fine. Okay, so that's not what I'm trying to say at all. But like, for me, it was really heavy having so many different perspectives and trying to put it together yourself when you have so many other people telling you what to think and how to feel is very difficult, and something I don't think very many people do. Now, to get back to how culture shapes our political beliefs, or even just how we are,
Hmm.
let me ask you one question. What if your kid growing up, if you said why, if your parents told you to do something and you asked why, what would happen?
Samoan family, or
Yeah,
I get
one family.
I get a backhand for sure,
Right?
guarantee.
Okay, exactly. Exactly. We grew up, this is why I think so many Samoans they do so well in the military, they do so well in the Christian faith and conservatism with traditional values, because in our culture, we're taught to be humble, we're taught not to
Yeah.
ask questions, we're very loyal. Samoan culture, we are so loyal to a fault. And you are not supposed to ask questions. And I'm so sorry. If any of you guys have questions about what I'm saying, because I don't think I'm necessarily being articulate about it. I'm trying my best here. Like, I'm actually sweating a little bit because this is such a heavy topic.
It
But
is.
but I do think that it's very important. And if anybody wants to like comment things, questions, want me to clarify, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to bash Samoan culture at all. I am Samoan. I grew
Yeah.
up in Samoa. These are my own struggles that I had, because anytime I had a question about anything, it was like, oh, just have faith. Oh, just be quiet. Just go do some chores, or the backhand, right? And so
Yeah.
that kind of mentality is not conducive to a healthy self-identity, because you have to ask questions. And in politics, in religion, in anything, these things are so important that you can't just blindly believe them. You have to have your own experiences, and you have to respect other people who have different experiences too, because they
Yep.
might feel the same way you feel about something, but their life experiences will take them somewhere else to have a different ideology. And we need to be okay with that. Like,
Yeah.
unless it's harmful, because there is a growing movement of neo-Nazis right now in America. There are a lot of dangerous ideologies that are taking root in Samoa, in America, all over the world. If it's dangerous to other people, then yes, obviously that's not ethical. But there's nothing dangerous about being
Tasha, I have a follow up real quick.
yeah.
This ties into something you're really strong on: truth and research. Where do
Mhm.
you think people are going wrong today when it comes to information and what they believe?
If you're someone, that thing I just talked about is one. But for everybody, it's a lack of media literacy. You say you're in college now.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
one of the things, and you're in your master's, one of the things that you learn in college, and this is not something I ever really thought about until after. One thing you learn in college is how to differentiate between reputable sources and trash.
Mm-hmm.
And
Correct.
unfortunately, there is a lot of trash out there. Like, almost everything fed to you is trash. And we believe it because our culture, not just some American culture, our culture is tuned into entertainment. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
love, look at reality TV. We love things that are dramatic. We love things that are entertaining. But people forget that with politics, with things that affect our lives, if it's boring, then they're doing it right. Because those are things we don't think about, right? If you can afford to
Yeah.
go to the hospital, if you can afford to take your kids to school, if your kid goes to school and there's no shooting that happens, like, that's boring, but that's the way the system is supposed to work. If it's entertaining, if people are at each other's throats, if there are debates, it's entertaining, but that's not the way it should be. That means there's something wrong. And why is it entertaining? It's entertaining because they want to distract you from the real problems. This goes back
Mm-hmm.
to ancient Rome. This goes back to like in history, whenever rulers, whenever things were going wrong in countries or nations, what the rulers did would, like, what do you think the gladiators were for? Like, during that time, people were so poor they couldn't afford to eat. There were no jobs. They're like, oh yeah, just have the gladiators kill each other. Oh, put some tigers in there. They'll love it. Entertainment is what distracts us from the real problems. Like right now, the wealth gap between the top 1% and the bottom is even greater than during the French Revolution. It's even greater than that. Now, why are we not doing anything about it? Because our TV still works. Like our social media works. We have all these distractions. And even though we know everybody's unhappy, everybody, unless you're like super rich, like you can feel it now. Like people are stressed out. Everybody's stressed out. Like happy people who are content, they don't go online and fight with strangers. They don't go online and pick fights.
Right.
Like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. And I think a lot of it stemmed from the pandemic too. The pandemic, I think, is what started it. Because historically, when influenza hit in 1918, 1919, that was also the time of the First World War. Like during times when there's a huge disaster like that, people always look for someone to blame. And when there are people in power, they take advantage of that. Like, okay, what's this. Even if they're not looking for someone to blame for that specific thing, it's like, well, you know what? Your anger, let's use that to focus on something else. Like, how about you get angry at this, get angry at that, get angry at this? When in reality, we're all suffering. We're all suffering. And the people who can do something about it, they could, help us out, but it's harder. It's harder when people are angry. It's harder when people don't have faith in the system that fails them. Like I think there are more people being homeschooled now because they don't trust the education system. And there's reason for that. There's people who they don't want to go to a regular job anymore because the job system screws them over. There's been a substantial loss of faith in our institutions, and that's for good reason. And on both sides, people, they don't know who to trust. And when it goes back to media literacy, I know a lot of people, they get their information from like clips, like the podcasters who have their commentary and stuff. And these guys are not professionals, right? They're giving their opinions, right? But in journalism, you have a certain set of rules to follow to be an established journalist. I taught journalism in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went back home to American Samoa. So I graduated from Pasao Merit. I went back for 1 year to teach, and I taught of the few classes I taught. One of them was journalism, and there are certain set of rules that you have to follow. There are code of ethics, like podcasters who comment on politics and all that stuff. They don't have to follow those. Those guys who call themselves journalists because they go and take their iPhone into these places and show all this stuff, like that's not the same as journalism. Like people will do anything for clicks, and I think that's a problem with our American culture as a whole. We go for the clicks, and the things that click is rage. In fact, I saw something recently where they said, oh yeah, sex used to sell, now it's rage. Even politicians now, the ones who get your attention,
rage people.
They're not the boring ones who are getting the work done. They're the ones who make you angry, and they don't care. They're just getting your attention because any attention is good attention. But it doesn't help us. It doesn't help us at all. I think deep down, all of us want the same things, but we're so distracted by the people who are keeping us distracted for their own personal reasons. And I think we can all agree on that, whether you're on the left or right or wherever. It's just, this is not a healthy society, and it's not healthy because that's the way it's designed.
Tosh, a lot of people live in echo chambers without even realizing it. From your perspective, how do we start breaking out of that? What's the real first step someone can take?
Having conversations with people who believe different things than you. So that it was perfectly timed. Today, I had a good talk with someone whose religious and political ideologies are different than mine. And how it happened, how we originally talked. Like he's a friend from he's also from American Samoa from a long time ago. But I did a post one time. I post some political stuff, and he comments on it. He got very triggered by it, and he started arguing with me, and we got into a bit of a debate on my page, and he was asking all these things like, how do you know this, and with someone who loves the research, I went and put all my sources. I screenshot everything. I really break it down, because when it comes to something as important as politics, because it is important, it is very important. This affects all our lives. People think politics is just for politicians. No, this is for it affects everything that you do. Even us talking right now, politics affects that, everything. So I what's important to me is I want to break it down so that people see what I'm trying to say, that they see the truth. I care about the truth. I don't care about what, if I show you the truth and you believe that's the truth, and you believe whatever you want to believe, even if it's different from what I believe, that's fine. I just want you to know what the facts are, because we're all being lied to. And as someone who I've who's trained to like see the difference between reputable sources and trash, I feel like it's my obligation to show reputable sources. I can't help it. Like even my husband, he's I'm a stickler for stuff like that. I'm very big on honesty. Anyone who knows me knows this. And it's something I cannot help. I'm sorry, guys. I know that I'm insufferable sometimes. I do know that. But it's something, it's the only way I know how to fight misinformation, because it's everywhere. It's everywhere. To me, it's the same thing as if you have your sibling dating a narcissist or a cheater. And it's like, you're trying to show them documented proof and stuff, and they still don't believe you. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I got to do? I mean, I feel like some of us can relate to that, but it's like,
absolutely.
Yeah, everyone's got something where it's like, I'm trying to show you. I'm not trying to ruin your life, I promise.
Nice. Tosh, before we close, I want to bring it back to you one more time. At the end of the day, what do you want people to take away from your story, your work, and your voice?
Honestly, I just want people to have a voice and to use it. Like especially from American Samoa, like we're such a small island, and most of us, like most of my graduating class, either went to the military or just got like a job in American Samoa, or I don't know. I guess most of it was military. And some people, they go to college and they don't finish. And even for our military, I think they lower the ASVAB, right? ASVAB for American Samoans to get us.
Yeah, I heard that.
Per capita, we have the highest amount of people going to the U.S. military per capita. And that goes back to being loyal. Like American Samoans, we are so loyal. But I really want people, and that's great if that's what you want to do. I know a lot of people do really well in the military. Like it's a really great avenue for a lot of people. Not for everyone, but for a lot of people, it really is. I just wish that there was more that we could do. And I think aside from the lack of opportunities, because there really is, that is an issue. We need more opportunities in American Samoa. but we also need to change something fundamentally in ourselves so that we can be ready, not just be ready for those opportunities, but go for them. You know, like with Guy doing that first feature length comedy in Samoa, for me doing the calendars, you know, to you guys doing this podcast. Like, if you have a dream, if you don't think, if you've never seen it before, even better, just do it. And even if you think differently from other people, like if you feel like you can back it up, if you really feel that strongly about it, like go into it, but also ask questions. Don't just blindly believe things just because your family told you to, just because your culture told you to. Like, you have to pave your own way. And the people who make their way in the world, they're not the ones who are listening to what people are telling them what to do or how to be or anything like that. They're the people who know themselves and what they want and what they want people to see. Not even having to think about other people, but just, if you know yourself, then you can really make your mark on the world. And that's the main thing. I ask questions, you know, ask questions about yourself, ask questions about the world. And I'd really like to see more people do that, because we really do love our echo chambers. We live in self-fulfilling prophecies, you know, but we really need to be loyal to ourselves. You know, Samoans are so great at giving that loyalty away. We're so great. Like, we have fa lave laves for people we've never even met, people we don't even know, because we're so generous and we're so loyal and so good. But we also need to learn to use that towards ourselves. You know, it's and in our culture, I feel like, oh, that's selfish. It's not selfish. Like, selfish is not, it doesn't, humility is not the opposite of that. Like, did I say that right? Man, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I really hope people are trying to get what I'm trying to say here. It's something I feel very strongly about. And it's like, I just want to go to people and just shake them. Just like, you can do this. You can do I know so many talented people. I feel like Samoans are naturally like programmed to be artistic, creative, awesome. But we get in our own way. Nobody gets in a Samoan's way than themselves.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, we're taught to be humble, be quiet, be obedient. No. Like, in certain settings, yes. But to yourself, be true. That's the main thing.
Tawsh, oh gosh, we appreciate you coming on and sharing not just your work, but your perspective, your journey, and your truth with us. For everyone watching and listening, make sure you go to support Tawsh Lav. Check out her calendars and tap into what she's building. This is what Wefobz is about: real stories, real voices, and conversations that actually move people forward. Until next time, much love from the Wefobz crew, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Much love. Thank you.
Wefobz from a far place to the top now. Feel the rhythm. Yeah. Far from a far place. Came with a suitcase, no place to call home. Just a whisper of a dream on a brand new road I roam. The city lights were loud, the language felt so strange, but every stumble, every change, they call me fresh off the boat. A label and just a new beginning, a tough climb, put my spirit to the test, but I held my head up with the fire in my soul.